Years old. She looks incredible. What's even more amazing is that she can still play that piano. She broke her hands when she was 80 years old, and doctors told her she would never play again. Wanda proved them wrong, and the energetic 108-year-old, may we remind you, continues to play on a daily basis.
That's what's keeping her young,
that
obviously.
Is so awesome.
Yeah, it's very inspiring.
Yeah,
hey,
definitely.
Thanks for your help today.
Of course.
You'll be
happy
back
to.
tomorrow.
That's the plan.
I appreciate it very much. Thanks for watching, everybody. That'll do it for us tonight at 4. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
Star families are concerned after receiving a letter saying outreach services will no longer be available to them, and we will explain.
Officials have identified the 2 people found dead at home. We'll have the very latest.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3 Now. A Gold Star family member says he is concerned after he got a strange letter in the mail.
The letter said that contract services would be cut for outreach programs for Gold Star families. Our Jamie Perez spoke with that Gold Star family member today and the Survivor Outreach Department about what this all means. Jamie?
So the guy that I talked to, his name is Kermit Hugo, and his wife said getting this letter in the mail was, quote, a kick in the rear. Hugo's daughter died while serving in Iraq in 2007. While he personally doesn't use the outreach services, he does know a lot of Gold Star families who do. And he said to not have these services available would be detrimental. I did reach out to the Survivor Outreach Services to find out what this all meant.
Says Kermit and Ruth, thank you for the honor of serving you. Due to budget cuts, the government has decided not to renew the contract for Survivor Outreach Services.
This is the handwritten letter Kermit Hugo got in the mail the day after Memorial Day.
I'm not happy about that at all.
With no explanation of why.
That could be fairly devastating for them.
Or where else Gold Star families could turn to for help.
We need this. You know, we need these things.
We reached out to get answers for him and other Gold Star families who may have gotten the same letter.
And the government is always going, when they need cuts or whatever, they're always going to the military and they're cutting the military's, services, and that's wrong.
We spoke to Cheryl Phillips, who works at the same place this letter was sent from. We asked the same questions that ran through Hugo's mind when he got the letter.
What exactly is going on here?
The government took a look at the costs, and it's always more expensive to have a contract versus having our government officials or government civil servants perform the duty.
Is it now going to go through something different?
So I think we ran the numbers and determined it was probably in the best interest of the program to have it run by civil service employees.
Is the program done, over with? They're not going to do it anymore?
There's going to be no degradation of services. Services will continue as in the past. We'll promise to continue the services at the level or even higher than before.
I mean, it's hard enough dealing with this stuff. I don't see those families having to deal with, any more grief than what they've already had to deal with.
It does seem rather strange that it wouldn't have been on some kind of official military letterhead, and it would have gone out to all of the Gold Star families. Gold Star families who have concerns, they can certainly contact me at the 88th Readiness Division, and we'll put you in contact with the right folks in the Survivor Services office and make sure that your concerns are met.
The person who wrote these handwritten letters did not want to give an on-camera interview, but told others that she had the best interest of the families at heart when sending these letters out. So if you got one of these letters, all of those services will still be available.
That's the important part. All right, Jamie, thank you. A second driver in a head-on crash in Dodge County last week died in the hospital over the weekend. That crash happened on Highway 151 north of Redwood Road in Dodge County in the township of Trenton. 24-year-old Ryan Schultz of Sun Prairie was pronounced dead at the scene. 39-year-old Eric Hagenbart of Beaver Dam was flown to a hospital by MedFlight with life-threatening injuries. He died on Saturday. Authorities said Hagenbart collided head-on with Schultz. Deputies say Hagenbart was driving the wrong way on the highway and was suspected to have been drinking.
The Jefferson County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the 59-year-old man who died during the swimming portion of the Lake Mills Triathlon Sunday. Scott Beatsy of Elkhorn was participating in the triathlon when he went below the water. Officials with the town of Lake Mills Police Department say Beatsy had a medical incident prior to going under the water. The death is not being investigated as a drowning.
One person is dead after a motorcycle crash in Grant County. The sheriff's office there says it happened Saturday evening on Highway 151. This was at exit 1, so just over the bridge from Dubuque. Deputies say 51-year-old Michael Belter of Freeport, Illinois, was heading southbound on 151 when his motorcycle went into the median, hit an embankment. A passenger on that motorcycle, 51-year-old Tina Harriman, was pronounced dead at the scene. Belter also taken to the hospital, and that crash remains under investigation.
We're learning more tonight about the mother and son found dead inside a Sauk City home yesterday afternoon.
Police are trying to figure out the cause of death here and how long their bodies had been there. Amanda Quintana live at the police department there with more on this investigation. Amanda?
Yes, well, because officers found 88-year-old Margaret Foss and her 63-year-old son David both dead together, they now have to rule out anything that might make their deaths suspicious. Now, the two of them lived in that home for more than 60 years together. David eventually became his mother's caretaker. People started to notice when their lawn grew out, the mail wasn't being picked up, and they weren't answering the door. No one had seen them for about a week.
We thought something was going on in there because he knocked at the doors to see him and they didn't answer the doors. So
it's something you don't expect, you know, and we're just so used to seeing him out and around and in the neighborhood. He comes and visits once in a while. And
the police chief says they do not believe anyone broke into the house since there were no signs of forced entry, and the fire department tested the carbon monoxide levels, ruling out a faulty heating system. An autopsy will be done tomorrow, and hopefully that'll give police more answers as to how long those bodies had been there and what might have caused the deaths.
Amanda Quintana in Sauk County. Amanda, thank you.
An 18-year-old pizza delivery driver was robbed of his cash while making a delivery in the 800 block of Kotke Drive last night. Police say a masked man approached the driver while outside of a delivery location. The robber threatened the man while keeping a hand in his pocket. The driver never saw a weapon. The robber left on foot.
A puppy several months old named Diamond was stolen Saturday about 2:15 in the afternoon from an outdoor kennel. This was on Sunfish Court in Madison. The owners of this puppy are hoping to get their pet back. Diamond, an American Pit Bull Terrier. Anyone with information is asked to call Madison Area Crime Stoppers. That number on your screen, area code 608-266-6014.
Let's get a check on the weather now. Dave Caulfield is on the weather patio. Dave?
Well, it was a little bit cooler than normal outside, Susan, across southern Wisconsin. We had that milky sky. At least a little bit of sunshine today was allowed to filter through. On Doppler track, we've been quiet over the last 2 days. I think that batch of showers to our south and west will stay there. However, a little bit of energy left over from those showers could cause some additional showers to form closer to our neck of the woods overnight, so we'll watch out for that possibility. Still mostly cloudy skies on the WISC-TV Skycam right now in Madison. Temperatures up into the upper 60s in Madison and lower 70s, a little bit closer to a warm front across southwestern Wisconsin, but still cooler than normal for this time of year. Those temperatures will continue to fall through the 60s as we get into the evening hours. We'll talk about showers and thunderstorms returning to the forecast tomorrow in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. Governor Tony Evers says a new partnership between state agencies will ensure more Wisconsinites have access to health care.
Danica Lewis is here now with more on that collaboration. Danica?
Well, this is appropriately called the Healthcare Coverage Partnership, as you can imagine, between the Department of Health Services and the Office of the Commissioner of Insurance. The announcement comes one day before the State Finance Committee considers the health department's budget. It also comes as Governor Evers keeps calling for Medicaid expansion, something he says will get 82,000 uninsured people covered. The education and outreach from this partnership will focus on low-income families who are sometimes eligible for Badger Care and other times need private insurance.
Need to really talk with those folks about what kind of resources might be necessary, what resources are already available, and how to double down on the work that needs to be done to improve enrollment and in both the marketplace and in Badger.
This partnership also involves meeting with community organizations, insurance companies, and healthcare systems around the state. Now, it is important to note that this partnership, according to Governor Evers, will go on whether Republicans in the legislature do approve a Medicaid expansion or not. However, the governor says the efforts will go a lot farther if that is included in the budget.
We'll continue to follow it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Danica.
Sure.
June is Pride Month, and Madison and Dane County are celebrating by flying rainbow flags in front of a few of their buildings. Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway, Madison's first openly gay mayor, spoke about the history of Pride and raised a rainbow flag in front of the municipal building today. Back in 1975, Madison was one of the first cities in the United States to ban discrimination on basis of sexual orientation. 7 years later, Wisconsin was the first state to pass a law protecting gay rights.
Madison remains committed to LGBTQ rights, equality, and inclusion.
The municipal building will also be lit with rainbow colors during the month in observance of LGBTQ Pride.
Madison Bike Week is underway right now. There are 76 bike-related events going on during Madison Bike Week. This morning, bikers participated in a City of Madison ride with Mayor Rhodes Conway, as well as Common Council members and city staff.
It is difficult for me to imagine my life without my bike. It's an integral part of my daily routines. I commute to work, I run errands on my bike. Now, not every bike route is perfect, but we're working on closing the gaps in Madison's existing bicycling network. This sort of continual progress is what gives Madison its platinum bicycle-friendly community status.
On Friday, there will be a Madison Bikes Party at Brittingham Park. There will be food carts, beer, and tables from local nonprofits. For a full list of events happening, head to madisonbikes.org.
A former Green Bay Packer and current Chicago Bear, but we still like him because he's helping students in Madison. Safety haha Clinton Dix unveiled his haha's Hero headquarters today. This was at Mendota Elementary School. HaHa's Hero headquarters are unused classrooms or corners of libraries that are transformed into reading areas, hoping to inspire kids to grow. Clinton Dix says it is important for him to give back.
Education is big. I was a guy who was retained in the 6th grade, not because I wasn't smart enough, but because I didn't apply myself, or I didn't have the resources or tools or somebody to motivate me to want to read and want to spend time after school and just really focus on academics.
I like the green and gold logo still, too. HaHa's Hero headquarters includes over 600 brand new, age-appropriate books and a comfortable space to read filled with fun beanbags, carpets, and chairs. More to come on News 3 Now at 5. The man who pleaded guilty to throwing a child from a balcony at Mall of America has now been sentenced. We will tell you how long he will spend in prison.
Plus, Britain's royal family rolls out the red carpet for President Trump and the First Lady for their official state visit to the United Kingdom. We'll have more on that.
And on Wall Street, tech stocks get slammed as the Nasdaq falls 120 points, but the Dow up 5, the S&P lost about 8. We'll be right back. The man who threw a small child from the 3rd floor at Mall of America was sentenced today to 19 years in prison.
Last month, Emmanuel Aranda pleaded guilty to first-degree attempted murder for throwing the 5-year-old over the balcony in the Minnesota Mall. The family of the injured boy wrote that the child had non-life-threatening complications and would need additional procedures.
While investigators in Virginia Beach search for a motive in Friday's deadly shooting, that community coming together to grieve and remember the 12 lives taken. People in Virginia Beach wearing the color blue today to remember those who were killed. There is a cross for each of the victims at a memorial now. A local contractor and 11 city employees. Their combined years of service with the city totaled more than 150 years. One survivor says colleague and friend Keith Cox may have saved 7 lives before he was killed. He directed the group to hide inside an office.
We ran in there and I turned and I said, come on. And he said, I'm going to go check on other people. Barricade yourself in.
Now, the suspect, Dwayne Craddock, died after a shootout with police. Hours before the shooting, the 40-year-old emailed a resignation note to a manager. He had worked for the city for about 15 years and had a clean record.
A royal welcome for President Trump and the First Lady during their state visit to the UK. Today they enjoyed a private lunch with Queen Elizabeth and Prince Harry, a tour of Westminster Abbey, and a wreath laying at the grave of the unknown warrior. Also tea with Prince Charles and a state dinner at Buckingham Palace. Before the president landed in London, he fired off a Twitter insult calling London Mayor Sadiq Khan a stone-cold loser for criticizing the ceremonial visit. Khan's aides said such childish insults should be beneath the President of the United States. The two are not scheduled to meet. Tomorrow, President Trump will meet with Prime Minister Theresa May and will attend D-Day events on Wednesday.
Even while on a state visit to the UK, the president thinking about the southern border, he tweeted, quote, Mexico should immediately stop the flow of people and drugs through their country and to our southern border. The president says he will put a 5% tariff on all goods coming from Mexico starting next week. Those tariffs will rise 5% each month until October, when they would reach 25%. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says Americans are likely to feel the tariff impact at the grocery store first.
Fruits and vegetables almost immediately because they have very narrow margins. I think for a lot of the other things like a car, it would take a while.
The U.S. imports $93 billion worth of cars and car parts from Mexico, which means consumers could see an additional $1,500 added to a sticker price if tariffs climb through October. All right, let's get a look at your first alert weather now. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield joining us with our forecast. Dave?
Well, Eric, today temperatures a little bit on the cool side across much of southern Wisconsin, especially closer to the lakeshore. That lake breeze was out and about today. You could say that for sure, with temperatures in Milwaukee stuck in the 50s. We made it into the mid to upper 60s in Madison and closer to the 70s for southwestern Wisconsin. I was trying to pay attention to two things at once here in this area of showers really diminishing quickly across portions of Iowa. However, there still could be some leftover energy that decides to help us spark some showers as we get into the overnight hours of Monday night into Tuesday as well. And there is a chance that some thunderstorms tomorrow are a little bit on the strong side for much of southern Wisconsin, closer to southwestern Wisconsin, kind of the western third, shall we say, of Wisconsin. Better chance of seeing some severe weather tomorrow. We're basically talking about some hail and some gusty winds, the main threats there, along with some downpours. Platteville, one of the spots in the slight risk of severe weather tomorrow. Right now, looking at mostly cloudy skies in the Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Similar story on the WISC-TV Skycam in Madison. These mostly cloudy skies. At least the sunshine was allowed to filter through a little bit this afternoon, but not so much over the last hour or so. We'll call it overcast skies. Today's high has already gone up a little bit in the upper 60s. We are about 5 degrees below where we should be for this time of year. We should be coming in right around that 74 to 75 degree mark. I think we'll be a little bit closer to that tomorrow. So our high temperatures, as I mentioned, 68 in Madison, 70 in Janesville and Monroe, a little bit warmer closer to Prairie du Chien and Boscobel, where the high has been 73 degrees. And our temperatures are pretty close to their daytime highs right now, with a warm front nearby off to the south and west. Now on future track, we'll notice the clouds on the increase overnight. I can't rule out a few showers, maybe a thunderstorm overnight. As I mentioned, that area of showers diminishing to our south, but still the atmosphere may want another round to get into southern Wisconsin. Then as we get into Tuesday morning, we could have some additional showers and thunderstorms. We'll have to watch and see if there's any redevelopment, and we'll see how long the atmosphere has to kind of recover. And then if we do get the sunshine, we could see some additional showers develop later on Tuesday. Right now, Future Track not too optimistic on that. What it is hinting at is on Wednesday morning, a cold front will come through, and showers and storms along that cold front looking likely. That will move through early on Wednesday, but by the time we get to Wednesday afternoon, temperatures will be near 80 once again, and the dry weather will be back. And there is definitely downpour potential with the showers and storms over the next day to day and a half or so. Generally looking at about a quarter to a half an inch, but you could see some amounts, locally heavier amounts, definitely possible as we head into the next couple of days. Your 10-day forecast. We are getting the dry weather back with us by Thursday and Friday. Temperatures will be in the mid-70s. As we get into this weekend, I do think that many of us will stay dry once again. I think much of that rain will stay to our south. However, we'll keep slight shower chances in the forecast for Saturday and Sunday. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic updates. Our traffic camera right now is at Park Street and the Beltline, showing slow go in both directions, especially on that eastbound side. Traffic generally heading out at the posted speeds, and we are looking at the normal delays for an afternoon on the Beltline. No major accidents or incidents to report, though. Speeds on the Beltline about 15 to 25 miles per hour. And it's 28 minutes right now, eastbound University Ave to the interstate with an average speed of around 30 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Ahead on News 3 Now at 5. Communities across the country used to make money on recycling, but that is changing. We'll explain after a short break. As we all know, recycling is good for the environment.
But all of that paper and plastic isn't worth as much as it used to be, and that has cities and towns nationwide holding the bill. Meg Oliver reports.
Here we have an issue. We've got a pizza box is fine, a pizza's no good. This is number one problem. Plastic. Hula hoops are not recyclable. Paint rollers are not recyclable.
Much of what people put in the recycling bin can't actually be recycled, and that's become a costly problem. Communities across the country used to make money on recycling, but that changed when China stopped taking much of our paper, cardboard, and plastic. Now, places like Lowell, Massachusetts are paying to dispose of it for the first time.
We could be on the hook for $500,000.
Crews in Lowell are now checking bins and giving warnings or even tickets for violations.
One of these carts will get a ticket, the other one will get rejected, neither of these will be picked up.
Leaders in one Florida community were also forced to make changes.
The price of processing recyclables increased from $53 a ton to approximately $96 a ton.
Because of that, Sunrise City is now sending all its trash and recyclables to a waste-energy plant to be burned in a process that generates electricity. Cities that still collect recycling pay more when consumers leave contaminated or non-recyclable items in the bin, because all of it has to be sorted in a facility like this one.
Want to recycle clean, dry, and loose paper, cardboard, bottles, cans.
Tips that can save time and money. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
And stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast when we return.
Good evening. Here's a look at some of the stories we are working on for tonight. The President and the First Lady arrive in the UK to pomp and circumstance and criticism. Plus, Chinese authorities have erased the collective memory of the Tiananmen Square massacre. We'll tell you how. And tonight, we are aboard a U.S. aircraft carrier that is conducting war exercises in Iran's backyard. We'll see you tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Now, there are some strange sport team names, but a Wisconsin team nickname is utterly ridiculous.
The Class A Wisconsin Timber Rattlers say they'll be changing their name for one game this month to the Wisconsin Udder Tuggers. This is not a joke. It's part of the team salute to Cows Night on June 20th to honor the dairy industry. You can buy Udder Tuggers gear at the team store. Tickets for the game at Fox City Stadium in Grand Chute are still available.
You know that's going to be a hot item,
Oh,
though,
big
right?
time,
It's
yeah.
all about selling the gear. Right?
Yeah.
All right, Dave Caulfield, let's final check of that forecast.
Yeah, maybe they'll have a milky sky over
you
the
said
stadium.
that earlier.
Yeah, with the sun kind of filtering in just a little bit. Temperatures are in the upper 60s in Madison, lower 70s across southwestern Wisconsin. For tonight, I think we'll dip into the upper 50s, increasing clouds with a chance of rain late, especially into the overnight hours. And our rain chances go with us into Tuesday and for the first part of Wednesday.
All right, Dave, thanks. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.